queers and straights, Nameless Potato here. Welcome to the third episode of an educational series here on the channel, Aequalitatem, an LGBTQ plus educational video series. This series will consist of 8 videos covering the following topics: LGBTQ plus history, sexualities, romantic identities, gender identities, queer representation, relationships, LGBTQ plus discrimination / gatekeeping, and how to be a good ally. This episode we will be talking about the differences between sexual and romantic attraction, the aromantic spectrum, different romantic identities, and more. The goal of this series is to educate people about the LGBTQ plus community, to encourage acceptance and understanding of those who may be seen as different from the norm. The name of the series, Aequalitatem, means equality in Latin, and that is what we are promoting in this series. This series is written by an American, and therefore will be focusing more from an American point of view. All resources used in these videos will be available down below, so I encourage you to check them out all for yourself. I will also be doing my best to answer any questions you put in the comment section below. Some parts of this video may seem very similar to yesterday's, but I felt the distinction between romantic and sexual attraction is important to me. While learning about the LGBTQ plus community, one may come across the term romanticism, but what does it mean? The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines it as the quality or state of being romantic. Well, within the community, it describes the gender or genders one is romantically attracted to. Before we go over romantic identities, it is important to realize the difference between sexual and romantic attraction. Sexual attraction is the desire to have a sexual relationship with someone, i.e. desiring to have sexual intercourse with a person. Romantic attraction is the desire to have a romantic relationship with someone, kissing, dates, etc. While a lot of people see these as one and the same, they are most definitely not, and both can exist without the need for the other. For example, someone could desire to have a sexual intercourse with someone, but not want anything serious in the form of a romantic relationship. Conversely, one may wish to have a romantic relationship with someone, but sex isn't something they want. While a lot of people's romantic and sexual orientations are the same, there's a decent chunk of humanity for whom this is not true. Someone's romantic orientation is different from their sexual orientation. It is represented on a pride flag as a heart with the flag of their romantic identity inside of it. On screen is the panromantic asexual flag. A panromantic asexual is someone who is romantically attracted to all genders but does not feel sexual attraction. While a romantic identity combined with the sexual identity of asexual is the most combination of different romantic and sexual identities, and it's definitely not the only one. For example, someone could be a polyromantic lesbian. This would mean that they are romantically attracted to more than 2 genders, but only sexually attracted to girls. With that out of the way, let's review some romantic identities. This part of the video will appear very similar to yesterday's. A good rule of thumb is if it is a sexuality, there's a romantic version and vice versa. If you wish to skip through this part, here's a time skip to the next part. I will not be including heteromantic because we covered how it is not a part of the community yesterday. Similar to the sexualities, these are not concrete definitions, and the definitions can vary from person to person. Aromantic is where you are romantically attracted to the same gender. Think of it as the gay and lesbian of the romantic world. They use the lesbian and gay pride flags within the heart on top of their sexuality, but might also choose to simply use the rainbow flag as shown on screen. The flag meanings are the same as in yesterday's video. Aromantic is the romantic version of bisexual, and similarly, it refers to romantic attraction to 2 genders. Like bisexual, it can refer to men and women, non-binary men, etc. As Alex explained yesterday, what the flag colors represent are as follows: pink for attraction to the same gender, blue for attraction to the opposite gender, and purple for attraction to both or non-binary genders. When someone is panromantic, they are considered gender blind. Someone's gender does not matter when it comes to romantic attraction, and they can be attracted to all genders. This is the romantic form of pansexual, and it is important to note that they are also not attracted to frying pans. Omniromantic is similar to panromantic with one key difference. They are romantically attracted to all genders, but are not gender blind. Gender does play a part in their romantic attraction, and they may have preferences in which gender they like most. Polyromantic is the romantic form of polysexual. Polyromantic talks about someone who is romantically attracted to 3 or more genders. This can be any combination of gender identities. It is different from biromantic because it is 3 or more genders, not 2. Polyromantic is also different from panromantic or omniromantic, as it is not romantic attraction towards all genders, just many. This is represented by the prefix poly, which means many. While some people use a different definition of andromantic, it is most commonly used to someone who is romantically attracted to someone who possesses stereotypical masculine traits, regardless of their actual gender. Andromantic is the romantic version of androsexual. Aromantic refers to someone who is romantically attracted to stereotypical feminine traits. The actual gender of the person does not matter. Similar to andromantic, there are multiple definitions, but this is the most common. The sexual version is genosexual. As there is an asexuality spectrum, there is an aromantic spectrum. Aromantic describes someone who does not feel romantic attraction. Just because someone is aromantic does not mean they don't feel sexual attraction. Someone can be aromantic in any sexuality, as romantic and sexual attraction are not one and the same. For example, someone could not be romantically attracted to anyone, but want to have sexual intercourse with someone regardless of gender. Aromantic, pansexual. Similar to asexuality, aromanticism is also a spectrum. The flag meanings are similar to asexuality, but instead of purple, it has green, which represents aromanticism. The romantic form of demisexual is demiromantic. The label refers to someone who only feels romantic attraction after a deep emotional bond is formed. Similar to graysexual, gay romantic refers to the spectrum in between alloromanticism, people who feel romantic attraction, and aromanticism. Gray romantic's relationship with romance can be very complicated and can vary from person to person. This is in no way a complete list of romantic identities, just like I said in the sexuality videos. Click on the little eye in the corner to see it, by the way. Hello people who skipped the past couple of minutes. Welcome back. We're going to discuss polyamory now. Polyamory is the act of having romantic or sexual relationships with multiple people at the consent of everyone involved. While some may think polyamory is cheating, everyone involved in the relationship is aware and consents to the addition of a new partner and other major life decisions. According to Psychology Today, 1 in 5 Americans have been in a polyamorous relationship in their lifetime, and 1 in 20 are in one right now. In a polyamorous relationship, all the partners get a say in different parts of the relationship, including intimacy, new partners, etc. Polyamory is not for everyone, but for some it can allow freedom and increased happiness. Communication is the most important thing in a polyamorous relationship, as without it, consent can be shared and betrayal can happen. Jealousy is common in polyamorous relationships, although most polyamorous people don't want to control their actions. Respect is also very important in a polyamorous relationship for a number of reasons. It is important to respect a partner's boundaries and comfortableness with polyamory. Trust is extremely important as well, considering your trust in your partner or partners to not forget about you or leave you for one of their other partners, as well as trusting them to run things by you before doing anything romantic or sexual with anyone else. There are many types of polyamory. One type is called the V. This one describes when one person is dating 2 people, therefore if you were to draw a line of attraction, it would form a V. This is the type of polyamorous relationship I am in. My partner, who we'll call Smiley Face now, is dating me and another person, who we'll call Frowny Face. Me and Frowny Face have no romantic relationship, which is why it is a V. Smiley Face has dated other people as well as me and Frowny Face. But as of right now, me and Frowny Face are the only partners they have right now. While I am also polyamorous, Frowny Face is monogamous, only interested in dating one person. Well, as far as we know at least. If I wanted to have another partner along with Smiley Face, I'd talk to both people, Smiley Face and the new person. And if they both agree, I would start dating the new person. This is what Smiley Face has done with previous relationships. But let's be real, I won't ever be able to get another partner. I have no idea how I'm dating Smiley Face, to be real. Anyways, a triad structure of polyamory is when 3 people are all dating each other. This is the most common structure of polyamory you will see in the media. A quad is similar to a triad, but with 4 people, hence quad, which means 4. Another structure of polyamory is hierarchical polyamory. This is when one person has a main relationship and secondary relationships along with it. For example, Mary and Jess are married. Jess is also dating Brad, and Mary is also dating Paula. But Mary and Jess's relationship is both of their main relationships. Well, Jess and Brad and Mary and Paula are secondary ones. Main relationships are typically married. Non-hierarchical polyamory is similar, except in our example, Mary and Jess's relationship will not be put above each of their relationships with Brad and Paula. There are plenty of other different structures of polyamorous relationships, and each will vary from situation to situation. As long as there is consent and communication, it's polyamory. Polyamorous relationships face a lot of prejudice from those who don't take the time to try to understand and instead choose to hate instead. A lot of people think, oh, you're dating multiple people, that's cheating. The amount of times I've heard that is immeasurable. It's not cheating, it is all consensual. With that, this concludes episode 3 of Aequalitatem, an LGBTQ plus educational video series. As I stated earlier, all resources used will be in the description below. Feel free to comment down any criticisms, questions, or anything I left out. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye!